What's up, everybody? Welcome to Mystics MMOs. I'm your host, Mystic Raven. So, yesterday we got a new artifact, and the meta players, they always have these great theories and all this other shit, right? The Sunstone Helix spike. And I was honored to get to watch Zazo's video with a troll with this artifact. Now it's hilarious. I'm going to cover two topics today, but this is going to be one of the primary focuses because he hypothesized. I love the fact that these meta players can't count whatsoever. That because you're going to get health because it's in the description. When in combat, in current health above 50%, performing a weapon combo will consume a percentage of your health, granting you a stack of Sunstone Infusion and embedding Sunstone shards in your target and all nearby targets. But if you scroll down here, unleash the power of the Sunstone Helix and purge all of your stacks of Sunstone Infusion, uh, dealing damage to your target and all surrounding enemies, restoring health and increasing your maximum base on how many stacks were consumed. Okay, so depending on how many stacks you consume, you get a health buff. All right, and he goes over it, but it tells you get a 4%. So at 180, you're going to get 4% health boost, right? That's like, oh my god. Well, trollers can use this to buff Tet. No troller's going to do that because they're going to use their debuffs. But let's hypothetically say that they were contemplating it, right? They're contemplating using this artifact to boost Tet and give up their debuffs, right? In their power output just to buff Tet, right? They wouldn't use this artifact. Even if they wanted to boost their health, they would never use that artifact because there's already an artifact in play that's superior.
Bloody heroes.
Okay?
Bloody
And what artifact could that be, Mystic? Mystic, what artifact could do better than the new one? Huh? We want to know. Well, it's this one. Entwined Rings of Azur. Of Azar, or Azar. Because when you use a group power heal, you're giving you and your teammates health based on your vitalization. And if you noticed, you already surpass it at 160, 5% health based on your vitalization. You get 5% based on vitalization. That trumps the new one, which is only 5% health from the shards. So why would a troll use the new artifact over Rings of Azar? Why? Does that make any fucking sense to anybody? God, I would hope not. Fucking idiots. Now, second point in today's video, we're going to cover this beautiful artifact with healers, which is the Eye of Gemini. Because as we know, when a healer uses this, they're going to get the caster's watch, which restores 2, 3, 6 health every 0.5, 1%, 3% supercharge. So basically, what the community's been doing is this right here. When Pollack's gaze expires, We're going to read down dealt damage players standing within. For supercharge abilities costing 2,500, 5,000, and 10,000 respectively. Restore 2% power every second, and standing in Pollack's case grants 5% might, precision, and vitality. So if you're standing in it, you get a buff. All right, you get this pretty gnarly buff of 5%. But the supercharge you're generating based on what? On the cost of the supercharge. But here's the thing about the supercharges, and I want to go over this because when you're taking a look at supercharges, not all supercharges are created equal in the game. For example, I have Tranquil Pool. The cooldown's 30 seconds for 10,000. But here's the deal. I have a 10K right here. That's 60 seconds. And you're not going to find every healer that has 10K supercharges. Does that mean they're inferior? No, because your time is relative. You know, point to, nod to Einstein. Time is relative to output. That means if I find a supercharge that's cheaper but has a quicker cooldown, I will push out as much as the 10K because it's still on cooldown and I'm waiting 60 seconds to re-implement that effect. Case in point, when we take a look here, I wouldn't use Flood of Power. I just put it on here because you'll see it's 30 seconds. This would be garbage for this. But Word of Power is 12 seconds. So how many can I get within that time? And within 30 seconds, how many could I get? I could get 4. Within the time duration of this, I could get 4 of these off. That's why your 10K isn't relative to time. Time is relative to cost. I literally was watching a content creator go over the top power sets, and I love to comment. I'm like, dude, as soon as you mention a 10K heal, I quit watching you. Because I can't stand ignorant players pretending they know what the fuck they're talking about. I can't stand it. I can't. I honestly can't. It's math, y'all. And you suck at it. This community sucks at math. Now, like I said, I'm not, saying, oh my God, don't use a 10K supercharge. What I'm saying is, what's the cooldown in association? Because if you can get if you can use multiple, supercharges within that duration, you don't need a 10K to get the most out of Eye of Gemini for supercharge building. You don't need it. Duh. The community can't count. They're incompetent as fuck. Okay, I can't make it up, y'all. I just can't. So yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. Now, another thing that's going to be important factor is what you put your chest on. So, for example, I do have on this tune, I do have the supercharge ability restore 5% on, no, right, I think it's on the tranquil paw on my head. So I get 10% of my supercharge back. Now, if I had this for word of power, obviously I would get more even back. I'd get 10% more using that. So what you want to do is find out which is going to be your primary supercharge. I recommend 2 supercharges, to maximize the benefit of Eye of Gemini. Usually a 10, no more than 30 seconds. A 5, no more than 20 seconds, 15, 20 seconds. And you can use Word of Power every 12 seconds. That's my recommendation. So you can push out the most supercharged generation from Eye of Gemini. You do not need 10K to be productive. That's my point. That's just my point. Now I use 2 supercharged generators. Now, as you guys can see, I'm also building supercharge because I use flash heal, which also helps me tremendously with my groups. I'm just building up really quick. About halfway through that one. The one thing I don't like about the 10Ks, it's just so derated, right? But once you get them going, you can get a nice setup going on. So what I usually do, once I get this ready, I pop it, I heal, and as soon as the effect wears off, right? Now I have enough where I'm not going to be able to build it up right away, but this is why I like the Word of Power. Because now we've got the effect, but now I can just use the Word of Power. And then I'm pushing out maximum supercharge, between my healing rotation. So I use usually, a mid, anywhere mid to high, between 5 to 10, and then my Word of Power. So, and then, I'm able to push out extensively a lot more supercharge in the duration with the Eye of Gemini. And then, of course, the flash heal, once this max, I would get more. But I'm also, as I'm using group heals, which I use too, right? We have a cooldown of 6 seconds, but it only applies to 3 grants supercharge to you and healed group members. So if a group member isn't getting healed with my group heal, essentially, I'm just rotating it. So as you guys can see, and of course I use Black Adam for even generating even further because I'm using 2 supercharged generators. But as you guys can see, we have a 6 second cooldown on group heals, or 3 seconds. So we have every 3 seconds, but I don't chance them in the row. We got 6 seconds on empowered pulse, and then mending wave 3 seconds, which is a group. So between my rotation and my bar, I'm always hitting a group heal to make sure I'm keeping the flash heal optimized, and everybody's getting supercharge as I'm healing them. So not only are they getting supercharge from my Eye of Gemini, they're also getting supercharge from me healing them. Where if I used Walk It Off, that supercharge generation would only apply to me. Okay? So I much would rather be building everybody supercharged, not with just one effect, but two. So that's how you min max. That's how you min max, y'all. And then a lot of people I've noticed that are newer to the game, because when we clip, like, okay, for example, if I do, I'm trying to find a good clip. Okay, yeah, right here. Uh, well, it somewhat, but it's not one of the best clips. So that one's got a delay too. But there are certain abilities that just clip really nice. So, for example, if I lost the bot, I could clip both of these. That's a clip. Canceling out the animation and hitting two abilities. That's a clip. Okay, so we get animation cancellation, when we use abilities that will fire in sequence, but a true clip is one that you can basically clip together and cancel out the animation. That's a true clip. What players need to get familiar with in this game, because I came from Elder Scrolls, I've already had two bars, is what we call weaving. And weaving is basically just a being able to um, use your weapon combos between your abilities. So in ESO, the top DPS know how to what we call weave. They don't have clipping in the same essence, but they do have some abilities that can clip, but then they also use weaving. And this community, a lot of your top precision players know how to weave. And there's the difference between your precision and your might builds isn't necessarily, the abilities. It's literally because the cast, your weapon combos can be slower than your abilities. But what ends up happening when you can weave properly, meaning combo up between abilities, you're actually increasing DPS because you're already anticipating the duration in which it takes to complete a combo. And that definition is called weaving. This community, only a few select precision players actually know how to implement weaves. The meta players have no idea about weaving. They have never weaved a day in their life. Yeah, they understand comboing and clipping, but weaving they know nothing about. I promise you that. So, yep, there you have it. I know you guys hate me, but I love it. I love being here and just debunking your bullshit. I warned you to shut the fuck up, and that I was going to put it out there. You took my favorite game, my little getaway game, from all the toxic other games that I used to play, and you toxified it. And I told you to shut the fuck up. You don't know what you're talking about. And now you made me do it. You made me come out of retirement just to bust your fucking bubbles. Pop your fucking little dreams. Have a nice day. Peace.